And next we have, my friends, Barack Obama. Travis. My friends, Travis. Where the hell is Travis? Travis, you were going to tell us about the new strategy.
Alright. In the last 18 months since the surge began, as I warned at the outset, Iraq's leaders have not made the political progress that was the purpose of the surge. They have not invested tens of billions of shillings in oil revenue to rebuild their country. They have not resolved their differences or shaped a new political compass. That is why I strongly stand by my palm to the end of this war. Now, Prime Minister Malaki called a timetable for the removal of US forces presents a genuine opportunity. It comes a time when the American general in charge of training Iraq's legions has testified that Iraq Army and police will be ready to assume responsibility for Iraq's security in 2009. Now is our time for responsible redeployment of our combat troops toward a political solution. Rebuilds our military, refocuses on Afghanistan and our border security threats. Mexico, George Bush and don't have a strategy for success in Iraq. They have a strategy for staying in Iraq. Imperialist scum, they say we should leave when violence was up. And I now say that we can't leave when violence is down. They refuse to press to Iraqis to make tough choices, and they label any timetable to redeploy our troops as surrender, bloody Frenchies. Turn Iraq over to a sovereign Iraq government, not to a terrorist enemy! There is relentless focus on the tactics inside Iraq, with no consideration for our strategy. To face threats beyond Iraq's borders, at some point a judgment must be made. Iraq is not going to be a perfect place, and we don't have unlimited resources to try to make it one. We're going to kill every Al-Qaeda sympathizer with our guns, and stand up to a flawless democracy before we leave. General Petraeus and Ambassador Karoaoke acknowledged to me when they testified last April. That's why the accusation of surrender is a false rhetoric used to justify a failed policy. In fact, true success in Iraq, victory in Iraq, will not take place in a surrender ceremony where an enemy lays down their arms. True success will take place when we leave Iraq to a government that's taking responsibility for our oil. A government that prevents sectarian conflict and ensures that the Al-Qaeda threat, which has been beaten back by our troops, does not re-emerge. This is an achievable goal if we pursue a comprehensive plan to press the Iraqi stand up. Now, to achieve that success, I will give our military a new giant weapon on my first day in office, ending this war. Let me be clear. We must be as careful getting Iraq as we are careless getting in. We cannot safely redeploy our combat brigades in a place that will remove them in 16 months. That would be the summer of 2010, 2 years before the end of the world. A regular person would be ready to stand up 2 years from now, and more than 7 years after the war began. 7. After this redeployment, we will keep a residual force to protect our assets. Targeting any remains of Al-Qaeda, protecting our service members and diplomats, and training and supporting Iraq's security secret forces so long as the Iraqis make political progress that I will find acceptable. And yes, we will make tactical adjustments as we implement this strategy. This is what is responsible and a commander-in-chief must do. And I have constantly said I will consult the commanders on the ground and the Iraqi government. We'll talk all the time, and we'll redeploy from secure areas first and volatile areas later. We will commit 2 million shillings to the meaningful international effort and support, and more than 4 million displaced the European Union except France, and because we have all at stake in this inability. And we will make it clear that the United States seeks no permanent bases in Iraq, except for a few, and in the future that Iraqis want. This is the future that the American people want, if I were to ask them, and this is what our common interests demand. Both America and Iraq will be more secure when the terrorist at Anbar is being out by the Iraqi army, and the criminal in Baghdad fears Iraqi police, not just coalition forces. That's me. And both America and Iraq will succeed when every Arab government has an embassy open in Baghdad, and the child ambassador benefits from the services provided by Iraqi dinars. The food, and this is the future we need for our military. We cannot tolerate the strain on our forces to fight a war that hasn't made us safer. I will restore our strength by ending this war, completing the increase of our ground forces by 65,000 soldiers, 25,000 Marines, and investigating into how to defeat conventional foes and meet the unconventional challenges of our time.